I'm Giuditta. I come from Italy. I'm currently living in the Netherlands. I'm a designer and also a researcher. And in my work, I'm interested in societal issues. And what I'm trying to do is to open political spaces through poetical or playful elements.
My name is Paolo. My background is in architecture. In my work and in my research, I focus on the interactions between cities, media and people. In every project we do together, we try to leave the process open and we try to engage other participants. And we are particularly interested in the unexpected interaction with the context and with the public, which every time we try to engage and include into the process.
Maunula Atmosphere is a project which involves the community in Maunula as a really central aspect of the project. Because what we are doing in these days, we are collecting videos and pictures, photograph ideas from different moments and different times. And from this material that the people here in Maunula are feeling to share with us, we are extracting the skies, the atmospheres. And afterwards, with all these fragments, we are trying to make a montage, so the final work will be a video where all these fragments will be mixed together.
Here in Maunula, we are starting broader research through an experimental project. So we are trying to look at environments as media because they hold a latent image of our society, of our civilization. For example, the sky is an impression of our industrial civilization. It changed color, the clouds changed shape in the last 40 years. And at the same time, media are environments because we inhabit them as much as we inhabit environments, and they are like a secondary impression of our society because they bring the impression of the environment that we are transforming. In this case, we look at the sky also because we see it as a commons, something that is shared in the background by a whole community, by each and every individual in a community.
And belongs to everybody as well. At the moment we are set up in the Media Paya, where people can come and share videos and photographs. So we had a few guests already, a few visits. And we also interact with a club there is in Saunabari, that is the Digi Club. And it was also very interesting to spend a few hours with them, and we went through their photographs and videos. And then at the Media Paya we also found a small archive of pictures and old ideas that also was really interesting to look into.
The provisional results of this research will be displayed in a multi-channel video installation just outside Media Paya spaces or the Saunabari building, and the montage will be generated in real time by a software that we are stitching together. What we have already been able to do is compare old pictures with new ones, and there are of course already very evident differences. No? There weren't so many airplane traces in the 50s, in the 60s or in the 70s in the sky. Like those traces that airplane leave behind are way more common today. So every time you see a picture with a portion of sky today, very likely there will also be an airplane trace.
name is Elena Mazzi. I come from Italy and I've been studying first history of art and then visual art in Siena, Venice and Stockholm. I started to work with communities because I was thinking that it's really about working with people that matters today to make a little change. And I think art is just a tool to do things, to improve our lives. So the best way is to directly address to people that are part of our life, so people you meet every day, and just see how, what they think, what is their perception, and dialogue with it. I started with community projects, but it's not always the case. Like sometimes it really depends what I want to analyze, and the main goal is it's for me to take a moment of distress and see how people react, how people try to use tools to survive strategies. And from these strategies, I can learn a lot as well. So it's a matter of exchange. Here in Maunula, I started this project called I'm Talking to You, and it's about the relation between people and the media. So how people approach to media, what they look at, like media intended more as a source of information, let's say. So how do you get informed by the media and what is the expectation you have toward it? I started to think about this project last year when I was in another residency in center of Italy, nearby earthquake area, doing a project in a very little village, so like 200 inhabitants again, really old people. And the project was called Avanzi, which means leftover, and I was mixing magical traditions to everyday life of people there. But I just realized how much people were relating to TVs all the time, also because it's a medium that in Italy is still very strong, maybe more than here. Here people are more like used to look at their news in the computer and the network, so you can also make a selection in a way, but on the TV you just get what they give you. I was just realizing how much frustration people wanted to get out from their bodies, and I realized I do it as well. We are living a hard time, very hard time, and also being a journalist today is not an easy job. So what you get is not exactly, sometimes or often I would say, what is going on for real. So today we have the possibility to choose which kind of source we want to trust. But you do it only if you're really able and you have the will and the time to do it. So it's hard for us that we are young. So I imagine for an old person how hard it could be. Like to search for the good news, trust it, and then compare it with another source. It's a difficult job. And so the risk of it is that you just get a bad information, a bad news, and you completely trust it. Having this dialogue with media was also about that for me, like how do you choose your information? Do you always watch TV? Why? And how do you react to it? Do you trust it completely? Or do you think it's better to avoid it so you are not facing the current situation of the world? So usually when I decide I want to work with people from a specific community, I have a sort of methodology I follow, which is really simple and it's always part of everyday life, normal everyday life. So first of all, I like to observe a lot. I really like to listen to what people narrations, mainly like their narrations, what they do in their everyday life, because I can learn a lot and people teach you so much. And especially with elder people, I like it a lot. Usually I sit in a corner that is really in between the way of people, the past sort of common passage, main road. I stay there, I read a book, I observe, I listen what people talk about in the street. When I figure out where they go, what they do, I just join them. But it's really like in a kind way. And this was a bit also inspired by Perec book, Espèce d'espace in French, but species of spaces, I think it's the translation in English. So like it's also like a sort of exercise you do for yourself. Because usually I'm not really a patient person, but when it comes to dialogue with people, I don't know why, but patience comes up. So I really like that feeling of myself as well. Since the project I'm talking to you is developed for me inside the people houses, which is also like not really usual here, probably to invite people at your place. So I was trying first of all to ask if I could join their places or do the shooting in their places, and I asked them to connect with computers or iPad or mobile phones or screens and watching some news. Before that I always asked which kind of news do you watch, which kind of channel do you prefer, in Finnish TV or international TV. So it was more also about researching which kind of media do you look for and why, and then collect them all together, prepare a selection they could watch. And I just asked them perhaps to be themselves and maybe to force it a little bit. So I wanted to catch this in between reality and fiction. The final piece will be a multi-channel video installation. All the screens will work at the same time, but only one audio from one person will come up. When the work becomes collective, then you can make a parallel. And it's the same way I usually work, like I work by case studies. It's a way not to generalize first, but it's also a way to compare that it really reflects the word in a way.
Suomessa on tällä hetkellä 108 vastaanottokeskusta. Tänä vuonna 4200 ihmistä on hakenut turvapaikkaa Suomesta.
The guy is a normal dictator. Who wouldn't be? Who wants all the money and everything?
Jostain pitäisi nyt jotain oppia jonkun. Mutta mä en usko siihen.
Millaiset asiat siellä erityisesti herättävät pelkoja?
I'm Juli Reinartz. I'm a choreographer. I work in Berlin and in Stockholm a lot. I come from dance, so I've been a performer for quite many years. At the moment in the dance field, it's quite fluent, the boundaries between what is a performer and what's a choreographer anyways. But I think I'm mostly busy with setting up projects. What I usually do is I'm interested in a topic that's most of the times related to the body and maybe body politics. So I'm always somehow interested in how the political and the body, all our bodies are kind of intertwined. Sometimes it's really a dance show, and sometimes it's a book, and sometimes I am making music videos, sometimes I am setting up meeting meeting spaces for people. So how this concept with this specific topic then in the end becomes a piece is very different. And I always work with the relationship between the stage and the audience. I always try to divert it. Today we are all asked, us as people, like in Western countries, we are all asked to follow our own desires, to express our desires. And on the one hand, this is something that we really want. And on the other hand, it doesn't really feel like freedom. Sometimes it feels like a struggle to express yourself and express yourself and express yourself. It hasn't always been like this, right? Like 150 years ago, people were not asked to express their desires, people were asked to follow rules. So what is the political request to people today, to how people should function, to what makes an individual, to what makes a body that we find more or less attractive? And I think these kind of requests to people, they are somewhat political or economical, and they change through time and through history. And I think what I work a lot with is like, what are the requests today to our bodies, and can we reflect them critically in our artistic practice? The workshop with the girls here in Maunula starts at a slightly different angle, because it's really about the digital surrounding and the digital environment that we all live in. And I was wondering, so what are the images that build the surrounding of these kids? And which ones are the ones that they really like and that they also, and that's my assumption, get influenced by? In the workshop we looked for images and videos with the kids together that they were influenced by, that they watch a lot, that they like, that they don't like. And now we project them onto the walls, like on the floor, on the back wall, and on a screen in the space, and we dance inside of these images. And we have different topics, like different dances, where we kind of try to follow up different questions. For example, if you would have a future body, what materials would it be made of? Or what is your favorite character? And a part of watching it, what in this cartoon would you, for example, like to dance? They embody one character in the movie, and they ask their friends to help them out. So if their character hugs someone, they will hug their friend. And I think it creates amazing choreographies, because people kind of go in and out, and they do something that they didn't intend to do. They just do it because of the video, but it brings them in a physical relationship nevertheless.
Candy Stars! Stars!
I didn't choose the name, but candy turned out to be quite a big topic.
Musta oli varmaan erityisen hauskaa varmaan se koreografia, sit kun mediapajalla työskenneltiin, oli niiden GIF-animaatioiden tekeminen ja kuvien etsiminen.
Koreografia. Tykkäsin koreografiasta, koska mä en ole milloinkaan tanssinut koreografiaa, niin se oli kiva kokeilla jotain uutta.
Musta oli hauskaa elokuvien harjoittelu.
Mä tykkäsin siitä mun ja Claudian tiku- ja taku-esityksestä.
Elokuva se harjoittelu, koska mun mielestä se, kun mä olin siinä akuankana, niin mun mielestä se oli tosi hauskaa. Me itse tehtiin ekana sellaisia, jos me tehtäis tulevaisuudessa, jos meillä olisi tätä kehoa, niin siis toi meidän tanssi perustus siihen tavallaan, niin me saattaisi valita 3 ainetta, mistä meidän toinen keho olisi tehty. Sitten niistä ne tanssiliikkeet tuli. Esimerkiksi mulla oli yksisarvisvoima, sitten mulla oli hattara, mikä se vika on? Raha, kun se ihan vika on, se oli se
Kaikki niinku sai itse niinku etsiä ne lempparit, leffahahmot tai ne niinku jotain sarjakuvahahmoja. Niin se oli kiva.
Mä mietin aluksi, että tää on niinku mun juttu, koska mä tykkään niinku tanssia ja sit mä tykkään kaikista mediasta. Ja sit musta oli tosi kiva tehdä tätä Julin ja Kaisan kanssa.
For my generation, the best future is that in which things do not change. But my feeling is that the generation that preceded me was a generation for which the future was full of promise. Anything was possible in the future. The idea of the project is to bring together people from my previous generation and people from the next generation and see a way in which, jumping my generation, building a bridge over my generation, we can continue the possibility of utopian thought.
In Recovered Utopias, the idea was that the students would produce either a 3D object or a short video about something that had to do with life on Mars. Every group had like a godparent, with the idea, at least a priori idea, that the godparent would be more radical in his or her utopian point of view. Let's say plan A about climate change has always been to stop emitting carbon, which would probably be the ideal solution to the problem. But because that doesn't seem like it's happening, some other people have come with plan B and plan C. So plan B is to voluntarily and purposefully change the atmosphere of the Earth to fix the problems we have created in the atmosphere. So not fix the cause, but fix the symptom. And plan C is to actually abandon the Earth altogether. And what I was realizing is that well, these plans are quite horrible. They're not utopian. They don't, they're not ambitious in the way that they're going to provide us a better future. They're ambitious in the way that we can, save ourselves. Because it was not a technical workshop of how to make a 3D object or how to make a film. Where we engaged the help of Albert Leine, who is a very well-known 3D modeler and animator. The kids were planning what they wanted to have, and he was developing it for them. So he was actually building what they were imagining to have. In every moment of like for me, the center is in the interaction between the groups and in the conversations. So I think that it created lots of questions. imagine a future, a utopian future, is in a certain way to make it exist already, because it exists in your imagination. So that's already one step.
We're the group eeefff, and we work at the intersection of technology, economy, psychology and science fiction. We also work with creating some alternative models of future. We are based in Moscow and Minsk mainly, but also working internationally. So in Maunula house we've just opened the Embassy of Future.
Our project is about making visible these horizons of desires of the community.
We would like to place our participants in the situation of the future and to look from this future at the present. So this is like the changing of the logic how we perceive the present and the now. And we are making it on the basement of the tool that we have created. It is called myfutures.trade. You can visit that and take part in the future game. We have participants here in Maunula house, and also there are participants in Moscow, in Kirkenes, where we have started the project in Norway, and in some other cities. So this is also like an international platform for them to share their dreams and to make them happen together. It is a game where you can exchange different things through a speculative stock market.
Yeah, or you could find a supporter to achieve your dream.
And the reason why we decided it to be in the form of a stock market is that those technologies are mostly working inside of financial system. We're calling it between ourselves a waiting list of desires, where people are creating a kind of new type of community that are tied together with this notion of desire, with this idea of dreams. We can compare it with a friendship economy. Here we can see the interface of the game. It is basically an archive of thoughts of teens. The first line is what does a person want, and then the second, that is called bonus, what this person is ready to give for making his or her idea happen. Right now we can see that I can stream myself and tell you funny stories, and someone has already sent the investment to this person, or the support. In the game it is called investment. I passed test yesterday, so I can send you some photos of them. So it means that teens are using this as also like a hack.
It's attempted to overcome the usual understanding of market as a trading system where people don't even know each other. Yeah, it's a kind of the expedition or diving into the free market, where we could find the very unique things. The crucial technology or the basement of our platform is blockchain called Ethereum. It's a decentralized database, absolutely transparent, and everybody who are using some blockchain software can get all information about all the history of activity inside this software. It's about anonymity, and it's about transparency, it's about autonomy.
Usually we work not only with children, it's like more of an experiment that right now we are also working with some youth to get the understanding of their attitude to the future and how we can together change it in a way. They are the users of different tools right now, and they're the generation that was born already inside of this community of nets and of different social medias. So we would like them also to see it in a critical way, and to also to give them the possibility to change the technology, not to be just a user but also to be an active participant of how the technology is going right now.